Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I must say I'm delighted to be joining you as ranking member of this subcommittee. I am just delighted and delighted to welcome Director Smith, who I just learned hails from Portland, Maine, which means you have a lot of credibility coming out of the box, Mr. Director. Don't screw it up. We're delighted to have you here. I'm also excited you mentioned about Thurgood Marshall. It was 50 years ago this spring as a young law student that I heard Thurgood Marshall speak at the University of Virginia Law School, and it's one of the highlights of my life. I still remember the speech to this day. I'm a strong supporter of the national park system, firm believer in its mission: protect and preserve the natural and cultural resources of this nation for the enjoyment of future generations. In this role, I hope to help the Park Service bring its operations into the 21st century, to help our national parks connect to a new generation of visitors, and to redouble our efforts to solve the challenges facing the park system, from older challenges like park maintenance and funding to the newer challenges such as record visitation at certain parks and the long-term threats of climate change. Director Smith, I also welcome you to the committee today. I appreciate your testimony on the pending legislation and appreciate the work that you've done for many years. I understand one of the issues that I'm going to be talking about is Acadia National Park, and you worked on that issue in 1986, and it's a delight to have you here with your expertise and history. The Park Service and the Department of Interior has been working with me for some time to address concerns about the legislation involving Acadia. I know that both the administration and the Maine delegation are dedicated to preserving and continuously improving Acadia National Park, one of the crown jewels of the national park system. I think the changes we've made in this legislation appropriately take care of a number of issues at the park. Importantly, the bill addresses the concern from local neighbors about the park and about the boundaries by protecting traditional activities of clammers and wormers near the park, and it also addresses an assortment of other issues that were bound to arise between close neighbors who've been in proximity for 100 years. By the way, I was at a celebration 2 summers ago of the 100th anniversary of Acadia National Park, and at the celebration was the only person on the island older than the park, David Rockefeller. He was 101 and was at that celebration. The legislation that we're bringing forward also codifies important work and a welcome gift to Acadia of 1,400 acres on the Schoodic Peninsula, and addresses some long-term concerns about the size and scale of the park by ending a lack of clarity on the Park Service's authority and the role of Congress regarding future acquisitions and boundary changes. Thank you again, Director Smith, for being here, and thank you, Chairman Daines, and I look forward to our hearing.